Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Kevin from Audio Digital, and today I'm going to teach you how to make rhythmic, chaotic waveforms for your LFO needs in the LFO mod. So let's get started. First, we're going to take this first LFO and we're going to change it to beat time. So let's go quarter notes, I meant half notes. So this is going to be the LFO that we assign to whatever we want in order to, modulate something. This other one we're going to use for a different purpose. We're actually going to use it. I'm going to change this to regular hertz, and we're going to use this guy to modulate the phase of the top guy here. Okay. Now I'm going to make this monopolar, and now you can see we're getting a weird waveform. So we can create waveforms that repeat that are not one of the normal sine, triangle, one of these guys. And if I do change it, I get different waveforms too, but they're kind of derivative of what the modulation I'm doing here. So let's go back to sine just for the fun of it. And let's modulate this test tone so we can hear what that waveform kind of sounds like. So as you can see, it's a nice, interesting waveform that we can't get otherwise. That's just the beginning of what's possible. Let's go ahead and modulate the frequency of LFO2 with LFO1 so we can get even more weirdness happening. I'm going to take this one to about 1.2. And now we're getting kind of a peaking sort of a waveform. That's all well and good. Now, if we modulate the frequencies of these two guys, we can get a wide variety of shapes. So I'm going to change this to bipolar. I'm going to modulate this guy here. Let's give him a 2. That's good. And with this one, I'm going to also make it bipolar and then modulate this guy. Let's go. Whoop. That's close enough. Okay. So now when I change the parameter here, I can get all kinds of different waveforms, and these will still be at the beat. Let's throw in the beat here. And I can change the frequency. And so this one right here, I'm changing the top frequency. So this will, kind of be half note or a quarter. Right now, I think it's at quarter. Can turn up to 16th or 8th notes or down to like 1 bar type of note. And then with this one, I can kind of change the waveform characteristic. So you can see you can get a lot of variety with this sort of setup. And if you change the amount of modulation each one is doing to the other, you can continue to shape the waveform however you want to shape it, but always keeping in the beat. So you can use this sort of technique to change, filters in your VSTs or your native plugins for Bitwig, and you can even set up more parameters here. Modulate, for instance, I could modulate the depth, and that's gonna have an effect on the waveform more than what you would think, because since this waveform is modifying this one and this one's modifying that one, changing the depth considerably changes the shape, right? So we go from this to this So even the pattern itself starts to change when we modify one of these guys. And that's the chaos nature. So the modifications are somewhat unpredictable when you start messing around with it, but it's always going to be rhythmic. So this is, you know, a whole new dimension in your sound, and it has kind of a, you know, like an analog sound or like a sound you could get from a modular synth because it is kind of organic and morphing and weird and so forth. So it's a great technique to use. So use it, enjoy it, and enjoy making your music. And thanks for listening to me.